The last couple of weeks feels real good, very fulfilling on many, many levels. Some people are calling this the season of redemption. The Badgers are back, and all of those sound very good, and we're very pleased that we're back. Some people wrote us off, and now we have two programs going to the NCAA championships. I believe we're one of 14 schools that have both genders going. On the women's side, going from an unranked team last week, and we're going to be somewhere in the 18 to 20 this week. That's very rewarding. Great job by Coach Miller in their young women, who went out there on Friday and just believed in Coach Miller's training, believed in our philosophy, got after it. We felt coming off the Big Ten meet that we had an opportunity. There was a door open there, and we felt that the tide was turning our way, mainly because of Shaylin Sorensen coming back into the fold and also Sarah DeSenza. And they certainly bring some good firepower. But yeah, over the last 2 weeks, we just felt that there was an opportunity there, and obviously the women went out on Friday and executed a great plan and finished tied for second with Michigan State, and we won the tiebreaker. So they're on the way to national championships. On the men's side, great run by the entire team, but obviously Morgan and Maliki up front doing that fist pump at the end of the race and taking control of the race very early on. That was awesome to see. Having those low sticks was great, but they did get some great support from Olin Hacker, Joe Hardy, and freshman Ben Eidenschink. Moving forward now, we're going to the national championships with two redshirt freshmen, actually three redshirt freshmen, one true freshman, Morgan Maliki and Joe Hardy, who are obviously have been to the meet before. So we're looking forward to Saturday.
Mick, with such a quick turnaround from last week into this weekend, how do you get your teams ready, and were they able to save anything, kind of keep anything in the tank from last week?
Yeah, I think out there on last Friday, if you talk to the guys, they'll tell you through 6 or 7K, it was pretty comfortable. We thought that was going to happen, where a lot of teams are just jostling, looking for a position, keeping an eye on each other, and trying to keep a little bit of reserves in the tank. Certainly for Maliki, Morgan, Olin to some extent, and certainly Ben Eidenschink and Ollie. A lot of them just felt like, it was kind of pedestrian early on, and it really became a 5K race instead of a 10K race. So hopefully that's good for us for next weekend.
The idea of season of redemption, is this something that you as a staff wanted them to hear, or is this something that came up from other ways? And I guess I'm just asking, is it something you promoted and wanted them to believe in?
Yeah, I guess there's a bit of that. Social media certainly picked up on it. We had a situation where these young women, particularly on the women's side, believed in the whole process, believed in their coach. We had some women that abandoned the ship over the last 12 months, and all credit to the young women that stayed on board and stuck with the plan. Believed in Coach Miller, believed in what we were trying to do here, and now it's very exciting to see them being rewarded for that.
Andy?
Mick, how does the redemption feel from a coach's standpoint? The player and your athletes certainly have, as you said, subscribed to the criticism or the evaluations that were out there, but what about the coaches?
It feels really good. I've been doing this a long time, 32 years. And I told the guys in the locker room after Monday after Big Tens that this is probably winning Big Ten on the men's side, and coming back from last year felt really good. I will always remember that championship, winning that one. It was probably the most memorable one for me, without doubt.
Dan?
Normally you think of cross country as an individual sport, but especially the women's team has approached it like as a team. Can you talk about just, the job that Jill has done there?
Yeah, incredible. If you watched the race from regionals, and you saw how much they stuck with the race plan, and to see the four women up front sticking together. They were never outside of a couple of seconds apart. Michelle Lee did get a little bit carried away early on, but we kind of railed her in, after a couple of kilometers. And to see true freshman, Alicia Monson, hanging in there with them and then eventually passing them, that was a huge performance for us, getting Alicia going. And a little bit unexpected, but some good things always happen if you want to get to a national championships, and certainly Alicia was a huge part of that. It was just an overall great performance from all the ladies.
Mick, you got a couple of studs on the men's club, so I don't know where you may be considered as far as a team championship is concerned, but those two guys, you need others to step up to be in contention, correct?
Yeah, sure. And you go into a national meet with low stakes like Morgan and Maliki. There's a lot of expectation on those guys. They're ranked in the top 10 individually, but rankings don't really mean an awful lot. You got to get out there. It's a national championship. That gun goes off, and it's every man for himself. And they'll get the green light. We know that if they're successful, they achieve their goals and finish inside the top 10, that it's only going to help the team. After that, we're talking about a couple of young guys that are coming back in their second week for a 10K. These guys are very good athletes. They were good in high school, and it's all about their future. And we'll see what happens. How do they handle the pressure of a national championship? How do they come back and recover? Right now, yesterday we met as a team, and they're silly giddy. And that's a good thing. They drove me crazy on Saturday and after the race when we met, and down on the when they were recognized down on the field, there's just this boyish, almost childlike giddiness about them. They're very, very excited, and they're very relaxed. And when you go to a national championship with that mindset, anything can happen. It's good things happen, bad things happen at a national championship. You see it every year, and we just have to hold it together for one more week. And I wouldn't bet against these guys. They're very, very relaxed. They're enjoying each other. They're enjoying this journey. This season of redemption, this comeback, call it whatever, and they're just having a lot of fun. In that, when you go into a meet that relaxed, some good things can happen.
AJ?
It's hard to believe that Saturday will be Maliki Shrobeljan's last race or cross-country race. What has he meant to the program?
This time last year, Maliki competed at the regional meet, and 2 weeks prior to that, he competed at the Big Ten meet. He didn't have to do that. It's something he wanted to do for the team. Even though we were having an off season, he wanted to get out there. He believed he's the leader of the program, and has been as two-time Big Ten champion. He means everything to this program. He's the guy that's the glue that's kept this all together. Completely different personality than Morgan. Maliki wears his passion on his sleeve, and is a true captain. Always has been a real leader. He believes that he's had some adversity. He's fought back from that. He has that incredible ability to be able to just push the bad days aside and look to the future and always look on the bright side of things. So he knows going into this meet, he's got 5 years of training behind him. He knows that it's going to come down to what happens up here, and he's ready for that. So he's been our true leader, without doubt.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks,
Thank
Mick.